Velshi and Steph Ruhle in New York. Hey, guys.
Hey, hello, Hallie. I'm Stephanie Ruhle.
And I'm Velshi. It's Wednesday, November 6th. Let's get started.
Palestinians took to the streets to oppose what they say is a needless and provocative move by President Trump.
It is a very tense atmosphere right now.
Later today, he is expected to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital.
Amid protests and the threat of violence,
Palestinians calling for 3 days of rage if President Trump goes through with it. Both Israelis and Palestinians claim Jerusalem to be their capital, the subject of decades of talks now thrown into disarray.
I would say this is atrocious negotiating behavior by President Trump.
This is in some ways a diplomatic crisis, a potential diplomatic crisis that is the doing of the president himself.
We continue to believe there is a very good opportunity for peace to be achieved.
There's no scenario in any peace process that Jerusalem is not recognized as the capital of the Jewish people in the state of Israel. There's no such scenario.
This is not an America first foreign policy gesture. This is a Trump first move.
This is a big day in Washington when it comes to the Russia investigation. The president's son, Donald Trump Jr., is testifying on Capitol Hill.
A closed-door interview with the House Intelligence Committee today. He's expected to face questioning about the Trump family's financial entanglements with Russia.
The White House and President Trump's lawyers are denying reports that Bob Mueller's team has subpoenaed Deutsche Bank for records of the president's financial dealings.
New information obtained exclusively by NBC News is shedding more light on what Trump Jr. was looking for from a Russian lawyer.
Russian attorney says Donald Trump Jr. asked her if she had evidence of illegal donations to the Clinton Foundation in a meeting at Trump Tower in June of 2016.
All right, lots to cover this morning, but the biggest thing right now is that President Trump is preparing to upend nearly a half a century of U.S. policy in the Middle East, announcing plans to recognize Jerusalem rather than Tel Aviv as the capital of Israel. The president is working to make good on one of his many campaign promises.
We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
But the announcement is drawing international alarm, with the Secretaries of State and Defense warning the move could create dangerous conditions for American personnel in the region. U.S. allies across the Middle East, from Saudi Arabia to Jordan to Turkey, warn this could destroy hopes for a peace settlement between Israel and the Palestinians. Jordan's King Abdullah II said the move will provoke, quote, Muslims and Christians alike. Even Pope Francis and British Prime Minister Theresa May voiced concerns over the president's planned announcement. The Pope saying he hopes President Trump will reconsider the move. The leader of the Palestinian militant group Hamas said moving the embassy would cross a red line. The group declared 3 days of national anger beginning today, hoping to organize protests and sit-ins outside U.S. embassies and consulates in the region. But it is unclear if the president will order the embassy to be moved to Jerusalem or even how long that would take. So let's put a little historical perspective on why this issue is just so delicate.
Yeah, it's understandable. It's been going on for a long time, and people may not really remember all of the context and history about it. So let me bring you up to speed on this. The beginning of our current climate dates back about 100 years to the collapse of the Ottoman Empire at the end of the First World War. In 1970, the British took over Jerusalem after World War II. A movement called Zionism started. Well, it had been going on beforehand, but it gained some steam with the goal of creating a Jewish state. Understandable because of everything that had happened in the Holocaust. The map shows the British plan. This is how the British wanted this thing to look like. It was submitted to the United Nations in 1947, and the hope is that they were going to split Jerusalem between Muslims, Jews, and Christians, aiming to create a Jewish state and an Arab state, with Jerusalem itself not governed by any one country. Now, Arabs, subject to the plan, said absolutely not. An Arab country surrounding the newly created state of Israel attacked it in 1948. Israel won that war and in the process occupied West Jerusalem. They declared Jerusalem as Israel's capital. The Knesset, Israel's legislature, moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem in 1950. Now, the presidential residence and the Supreme Court followed suit. The United Nations, however, at no point recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital, nor did governments around the world. Every embassy to Israel remains in Tel Aviv to this day. Now, in 1967, another Arab-Israeli war led to Israel seizing the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem, which was then controlled by Jordan. Now, the annexation of East Jerusalem, which displaced many Palestinian Muslims and Christians, was not recognized by the international community and is the major factor preventing Palestinian and Israeli peace talks. Well, maybe it's not the major factor. It's certainly one of the biggest factors preventing these peace talks from going forward. Nevertheless, in 1980, Israel passed a law declaring Jerusalem complete and united as the capital of Israel, giving it special priority under Israeli law. U.S. presidents, however, have refused to recognize Jerusalem as the Israeli capital since the Camp David Accords in 1979, partially to help ease the peace process in the hopes of obtaining a two-state solution between Israelis and Palestinians. And that is predicated on East Jerusalem being the capital of a Palestinian state. In 1995, President Clinton signed the